Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about event-driven design. Yeah, so we're going to talk about AWS Lambda, okay, and we'll talk about API gateways, and we'll talk about SQS and SNS, and we'll also touch EventBridge and step functions basically, and we'll also see DynamoDB, okay, so how it is used and everything. So let's go ahead and start with AWS Lambda. Okay, the core idea is it runs code without servers. That's the idea. So key properties, it's stateless, event-driven, auto-scaling, has those features, and max execution is 15 minutes. Memory affects CPU. Okay. Concurrency default limits to 1000. If exceeding, throttling. Yeah. So the idea is Lambda. If you ask what is Lambda, Lambda is just a function. Okay. Lambda is just a function. Okay. Like if you've studied programming, like we have functions, right? Uh, we use this function. We can call this function anytime uh, we want, right? So basically, what Lambda is like, it's used like, for example, let me have an example. Let me just get a here. Okay, you configure Lambda here. Okay, Lambda function here. Okay, and it's a piece of code basically. It's just a piece of code, okay, that tells you, for example, let's say uh, you want to receive an order or something from an API basically. So you can use like we have API here, okay, API API gateway or something API. So yeah, so basically Lambda is just going to accept this API, for example, and it's going to send it. Yeah, it's going to do some action with it, like either send the notification. Let's say you receive an order or something from on this API. You pass an order or something on this function. You will write a code that says send this order to. You can put it, for example, here. You can put something called SQS. Okay. So this is basically what handles the queue. It's like a queue. Okay. Okay. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Or it can be vice versa. Like you can have an SQS before Lambda functions. Okay. Like you can put another Lambda function here. Like for example, you can put another Lambda function here, one Lambda function. And this function, it's just going to take you to the database, basically. Okay, let's say we have a database here, database, database. So basically, you're saying uh, send it to the database. Okay, send the specific order or something to the database. The data inside the database. So that's the flow. Like for example, yeah, you can have this kind of flow, for example, or you can use something called the lambdas function can actually send a notification to user. Let's say after order is received, a specific order is received, like it can send emails to users This we call it we use SNS. It's for notification. Okay, SNS for notification. Okay, SQS for queue. This is for notification. Keep that in mind. Notification, notification. Okay, and this is for queue. Queue. Okay. hmm So basically, let's say we have yeah. So these are the components that we plan to study today. Okay, I'm going to try to cover it. So the idea is, let's say you have an API gateway. API, we've talked about APIs in our programming course. API are just, it stands for Application Programming Interface. It's used to communicate with your front end or back end technologies. Like it's used to communicate with different third party applications, or it's also used to interface with different application like mobile application or some other third party systems or integration. So basically, yeah, that's the API. So, but the API gateway is actually, yeah, it's used mostly with microservices. If you know microservices, microservices are basically a single application. Is application is divided into different services. Like for example, we have payment service here. Okay, for let's say for an e-commerce or some similar banking or something similar systems. Here, this is order services. This is order. Okay, this is order. Let's say we have order service here. Okay, this service is going to handle an order, and this service is going to handle let's say checkout or something like that. Okay, so basically in big applications, okay, we have we divide this into different services, into three different separate services, each with its own database and stuff. So at this case, we need to use something called like an API gateway. Actually, yeah, an API gateway so that we can send based on the required service, send the client to to the required service. Okay, so the client might request something. He might need to like he could have for example he just want to see the order history or something like that, the order page, or he already completed the checkout process and it is directed to the order page to track his shipment or something. Then it's going to forward him here, right, to the order service. This is the service that's going to handle all these things. And let's say the customer is in the payment stage. And this is the payment service that's going to handle stuff. This is the idea of API gateway. This stuff. That's why we put API gateway at the center, so that it's going to direct each request to the correct service. So, yeah, that's the purpose of basically API gateways. Okay, and we can create them, and yeah. And also, the benefit of other benefit is like it has you can configure rate limiting in the API gateway. Like you can set a limit how many users can try to make a request on this API gateway at a time. Like you can add authorization, authentication, and you can do logging, monitoring, all this stuff. Gives you all these features basically in one place. You can do all these things in one place. So yeah, so that's the API gateway, and we said that Lambda function is just like a way of saying like if this happens, like writing code. Basically, it's a small piece of code function that you can use. Like for example, if you want to push a specific data or specific something to the queue, okay, which is SQS, you can use Lambda function. You have to use Lambda function. Going to take the ARN or something from the SQS. First, you create a queue SQS, and then you're going to take the ARN and put it in a code, write a code in the Lambda function that pushes data or something to the SQS. The same thing goes with SNS, basically, it's for notification. Create an SNS notification, and you create a subscriber. For example, you put an email, a specific email where you want to send an email or something, and it will automatically trigger it. It will be triggered when a specific action is done, is performed. Okay, the email will be sent. That's the idea. Okay, and for database, actually, we're going to use something called DynamoDB. DynamoDB is just a NoSQL database. Okay, uh, yeah, it's a NoSQL database. Okay, that works well with Lambda actually. Okay, so it will simplify the process of saving the data. Like for example, here we can even put a function here. Let's say a user submitted post request. Okay, we know about post. Post is just a method for uh, post is just a method for sending data to the database, right? Entering data, and we have different methods. We have get, we have put for updating, get for fetching, getting data from the server, put for updating, delete for deleting data from the server. Okay, let's say we have post, and I just sent order or details to the API gateway. Then the first thing it's going to do, the Lambda function is going to send it to the queue. Okay, why we are using queue here is because actually, let's say there are many multiple users. They all made a same request to the for the resource, right? Then there will be an issue, right? There will be an issue called throttling. Throttling is yeah. Uh, Throttling is the intentional control limitation of resource consumption with a bandwidth to ensure system start prevent abuse. Yeah, for 2 minutes. So that's why we use the API rate limiting basically. This is to prevent this one. Okay. Yeah, uh, we set this one. Okay. And yeah, so SQ, yeah, so, and there is also one thing we need to know. Okay. Here, yeah, uh, API gateway, the core idea is the entry point of the API. There are different types of API. We have REST API, HTTP, and WebSocket. Okay. So, yeah, we have to also think about caching in the API because we have to use that one. Okay. SQS is just there are decoupled system basically, and there are two types. We have standard and FIFO. Okay. The standard offers at least once delivery, possible duplicates. FIFO exactly once and orders. It's first in, first out, basically. It means, yeah. So standard, it has to be delivered. It delivers once at least, possibly duplicates. So visibility timeout, message hidden within the process, the dead letter queue, failed message, go here. This is the idea of dead letter queue. The messages that are actually failed, they come here, they go here, dead letter queue. Visibility timeout is message hidden while being processed. So duplicate message, it uses FIFO. Okay. Yeah, exactly once. No, this is a mistake actually. Duplicate message uses standard. FIFO uses exactly once in order. Failed processing, we use dead letter queue. So yeah, so this is a real architecture. We have an application here. Uh, it goes to the SQS and then to Lambda processing range. So SNS is just sends a message to multiple subscribers. Okay, fan out pattern. Okay, let's continue. We were on here, right? Fan out, push based. And let's go ahead and do it practically because it's much better to understand it, to do it practically. So I'm going to go to Lambda, and I'm going to remove this one because I created this earlier and I don't think we need it now. Confirm, and I'm going to go ahead and create a function here. And I'm going to create a function here, start with a simple hello world example. So let's create a simple hello world function actually, just so we can see. And you can choose a default role, or let's just keep everything default for now. Let's just see what happens. Create a function. I just put the name, and I chose this one, author from scratch. Start with a simple hello world example. Okay, so this is one function. And basically it's going to give me the code for hello world. This is the code. Okay. uh, for those of you who know Node.js, this is going to be very simple for you, and it's basically just you see the response here is supposed to display this one actually 200 status code 200, and it's going to return hello from Lambda. This is the response basically. So what we can do right now, this is basically what is a function, Lambda function. So what I will do is I will actually uh, go ahead and create a an API gateway. Okay, so I can show you exactly how it looks like in the real world, how it's done. I'm going to write here API. Okay, this API gateway. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. Or keep it, doesn't matter. Let's create a new API. We have options here, HTTP API or WebSockets or REST API. So we will use REST APIs built, and we'll choose a new API here. You can choose the API name, which is hello, for example. Okay. You can leave the regional here. Security, we don't need to do anything. Just create API. Okay. So now that I created an API, I should actually create a method. Okay. Next thing is create a method. The method is going to be get, right? Because I want to get. Actually, what I want is to get the from the Lambda function. Okay. So I just choose the method here. and then I have to actually choose the function that I created here. I'm the function, I choose the function that I created, then create method. So this is what I did. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and enable course. Course is basically allows requests, like if you're running it on a browser or somewhere, you're trying to access from a different domain. Okay, this is going to let you. It's going to give you an error. You have to enable course. Save this one. Okay, and now let me just go to the get here and deploy API. And I'm going to choose new stage. I'm going to name it hello. Okay, this is the stage name and deploy. Now you will get the API actually. This is the API. So when I actually go ahead and try to do this from my uh, from my uh, API here, you can go to get here and you can see this is the API that we have. Okay, let me just go ahead and try to do it from Postman here. I go get, I got it. You see, it's working for me now. Saying status 200, body hello from Lambda. Doesn't have to be here. You can just also go ahead and copy this one and paste it on the browser itself. You're going to get this one. Status code 200, body hello from Lambda, right? So this is what I did basically. Okay, let's repeat what I did. I created an API. Okay, then once I created an API, I integrated it with Lambda. Okay, the Lambda that we created there. So we write the code on Lambda and we just link it with the API gateway. Okay, and then once we integrate it to Lambda, okay, and then I created a method get. Okay, and just and deployed. So this is basically how Lambda is used in the real world. Okay, there is one more thing that I want to do with Lambda. Actually, now that we know the basics, now let's just see what else we can do with Lambda. Okay, now let's say I want to go ahead and send notification. Okay, let's say we can send notification. Yeah, let's say I want to send notification. Yeah, so I'm going to say send notification and SNS. Okay, I'm going to create a Lambda function. Okay, I'm going to send notification. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just keep everything as it is. Okay, create a function. Okay, and now that we have the code we will use. I'm going to get the code somewhere else here. This Lambda code that I have. So for notifications, we can just use this one basically. This code that I'm going to use here. Okay, and I'm going to paste this one. Okay, so I don't need this one actually. Orders created. No need to do this. Just leave it as it is. So one thing that you need to do is paste the you. We're supposed to create SNS notification here. This is you type SNS on the search. It's simple notification services. We open it on the new browser, the new tab. We go and create a topic. You have two options: first in or standard. Let's use standard for now, okay, because it has at least one message delivery, and it's yeah. So and the topic, I'm going to say notification here, and let's just leave everything as default. So now I'm supposed to actually create a subscription here. Okay, then I'm going to choose like send it how, like by email, by email protocol. And I'm going to choose the email that I want to use to send it to, and then create subscription. Okay, basically this is what it means to create a notification. Then what we need to do once we create this SNS, okay, we need this one, the ARN number. And we can go to topics here. This is the one that we created, right? We need this one, the ARN. Okay, we copy this one. Okay, what we will do with it is actually we're going to go ahead here, paste it here on our code on the Lambda function. Okay, and I'm going to save it and deploy this one. Control, yeah, deploy this one. You have to deploy actually. Once it's deployed, once it's deployed, there is one more step you need to do. You go to configuration, you click on permissions here, you click this one, the role name, and you are supposed to go ahead and add permissions here, attach permissions, and give it access to SNS. Okay, this is SNS. I'll give it full access for now. And yeah, so that's it. So now actually it should work. We go ahead to the, and one thing we have to do also, we go to Gmail, to our Gmail account, the email that we specified when we want the notification to be sent. Here you're going to receive an email. You have to confirm the subscription before anything can happen. Once you confirm the subscription, and then what we can do is actually just go ahead and yeah. So yeah, so go ahead and test it. There is an option here to test this one. Test here. Create a new event, event name, whatever here, and you can put hello world here. Template, yeah, fine. And go ahead and test. Executing log. Okay, let me check the. Let me see what we can do here. Create. Mhm. Let's just go ahead and see this one. What exactly happened? If we even received the email. We didn't receive the email actually. So let's, because it's not actually set up properly yet, I think we go ahead with the, I think it's this one. Uh, Uh,
Yeah, so basically, once we do this, okay, we wrote the code. This is the when we shift change the ARN here. So we can go ahead and test it. Okay, you can go ahead and test. Click test here. Once you test, you're going to see that we will. You go ahead and refresh the page here. You can see that we're receiving the notification. So this is the purpose of SNS, okay, simple notification service. And yeah, now that we know SNS, let us go ahead and try. Go ahead to check DynamoDB. Okay, I want to do something. DynamoDB is just a database. Okay, NoSQL database. Okay, it's a fast, flexible NoSQL database service for any scale. It's fully managed key value document database that delivers single-digit millisecond performance at scale. Okay, so basically, it's fast and flexible. It's also very it works with Lambda perfectly. So yeah, these are all the benefits. You can see it, but to create, you just create a table. Okay, it's that simple. Let me name it. The table, I'm going to name it. Let me name it customer or something for now. And we need to have a partition key actually, which is primary key. Okay, you can choose anything here. You can put customer ID or order ID, no problem here. Okay, this is required. Other things you can leave it as it is. It's fine. Just we can create table. Let me remove this one. We don't need it. Confirm. Yeah, so this is basically this is the table that we created. Okay, so in order we can explore table items here. You can see the items. This is the order ID and everything. No items yet, no items to display. And we can create items from here if you want. You can just add a value here and string, and it's going to work. But right now we don't want to do that. We just want to link it with Lambda so that we can automatically update. We can update, use this database. Okay, this DynamoDB. We're going to use the API to push data and update it here. Okay, but first we need to create an API. Let's go ahead and create an API gateway. And this is an API gateway. I'm going to create a new API here. I'm going to use REST API here. And I'm going to name it customer. Okay. And just going to leave everything else as it is, the default. And I'm going to create methods here. First method I'm going to create is going to be get. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to create, but first I think we should we should create a Lambda function so we can integrate it. Let's go ahead and create a Lambda function. We type here Lambda. I'm going to open this in a new tab. Okay. Actually, instead of get, we're just going to create a post. Okay. Let me check if we have any built-in templates. We can do that. 1 second. Dynamo. Well, not here, actually, it's here. You can check for a blueprint. Like sometimes you can find build Lambda application from sample code and configuration for common. They have templates, ready-made code. If your use case, if you can find what you need there, you can just use that. Like here, we don't have here actually. This process updates made to. So yeah, we don't have this. This is just yeah. So what I will do is I'm just going to go to the author from scratch here. Okay, I'm going to name it customer. Okay, and yeah, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just create a function for now. Okay, just give it some time. Okay, once you get the customer here, what you will do is then what you will do is just replace this code. Actually, you have to replace it with the code. I have it with me here for to save to DynamoDB. I have one code ready-made, a working code here, tested before. Let me just copy this one. Okay, I'm going to use it. Going to replace the code here. Yeah, basically this code is just going to, but you have to make sure that the table name is same as the table name in DynamoDB, because you have to go to DynamoDB here, DynamoDB, and check your table name, what the exact name, because we need the exact name actually. We can go to tables here. Customer is the name. We just copy this one. We have to make sure replace this one with the customer name, and we need also SNS if we are going to send notification. Like if you want to push a notification, you can go ahead and do that. Like for example, new order created or new customer creates a notification. We don't really need that right now, so yeah, this is actually not very important for me. I can just copy this one and just take this, remove the entire block. Let me just remove it completely. There is no delete, so cut. And we don't need this SNS. We don't need to replace anything, and we don't need this as well. So we just want to update to DynamoDB. That's it. We don't need the SNS here. Even this one is not required. So this is basically the code, and we have order ID, but actually our no, I'm using order ID, so you can keep this as it is, no problem. We have on the side the table name, we have order ID, right? So it's fine, and that's all we need to do actually. Just deploy this code. Yeah, deploy this one. Okay, deploy it. So once this is deployed, what we can do is we can test actually. We can just put some data here and test it here itself. I think we should, because we can put the JSON here. Let me put one example here. Let's say the order ID. Let me remove this one. I think it's order ID, right? Order ID. And let me just put anything here, and here we have what we have, name or something, and put here laptop or whatever you want to put. You can put comma here, I think this is the right way. Let me just check if it's going to work. Test it. Failed. Uh, this must be from my side actually. The syntax that I'm using might not be the right syntax. Let me check it. Yeah, maybe. No, because order ID should be string. Right? Let me check one. Let me get something that's already tested, like, or I can take from Postman, like this one. So we have already made here, right? Let me just change this one, paste it here. I think it's this way. No. Let me check if the code is actually okay, because I tested this code before also. It was working fine actually. Yeah, this code was working fine before. For some reason it's not now. Yeah, so this is the table name. The table name is correct. It's DynamoDB, and yeah. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me. Yeah, but we should be able to test it. So 1 second. Okay, let's go ahead and see what happened. See, we can use this one, this code, okay. And I'm currently using this code, okay. And I made sure to change the table name, and I'm using this code. I added SNS also. So just make sure to go ahead and go to the roles and add the required permissions, like DynamoDB full access and SNS also. These two are very important. Yeah, yeah, you can do it manually also by adding this one. Like you can just put JSON, use this one. Okay, and save it. And once you finish this one, you have access to the code actually. Once you finish this one, okay, now we can go ahead and test it. Okay, let's have different. Let me put this number, okay, and the amount I'm going to say it is actually 50,000, and the order ID I'm just going to change it. I'm going to make it 32. I'm going to do 786 or something like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and test it. Okay, now I'm going to go to DB access, DynamoDB here. This is DynamoDB. Okay, I can go to tables here. You click to the table and you explore table items here. And 1 second. You have to give it time actually to take time. Refresh this one. Refresh it. And explore table items. Refresh the tables. Yeah, this is the table that we just created. It was automatically created. 786 and 50,000 table, 50,000 amount. You see, that's how we can connect Lambda with the DynamoDB. Okay, there is one more thing, and we can, yeah, one more thing. It's actually SQS. Okay, we haven't tried SQS until now. SQS is just like a queue. Okay, it's like a queue. Instead of sending the request to yeah, it's a message queuing service. Provides queues for high throughput system to system messaging. You can use queues to decouple heavyweight processes, buffer batch work, and Amazon SQS stores messages until microservices or serverless application process them. That's the idea. For example, here we have a producer here, right? And messages are sent from application, which is a microservice, or and AWS services. Then they are sent to the queue actually. No, yeah, SQS to the queue. The queue stores the message, wait for customers to poll. Poll means pull, basically. The message take consumers, not customers. Consumers' messages are processed by the application, Lambda function, EC2 instance, or any other AWS service. So Amazon SQS allows producers to send messages to a queue. Messages are then stored in a SQS queue. When consumers are ready to process new messages, they pull them from the queue. That's the idea. We have two types here. Queue scale elastically with the first in, first out. And we have this. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. Okay. I'm going to use it. I'm going to create a Lambda function. Okay, that will send to the queue, and one other Lambda function that will take from the queue and send it to the database. Okay, let's create a queue here. I'm going to name this one customer queue. Okay, customer. Let's go ahead and name it customer receiver. Or okay, so this is a queue. I'm just going to name it receiver here. No, I'm just going to name it receiver queue. Okay, so we are supposed to put enter data from the API. Okay, and the Lambda function is supposed to transfer the data to the queue. This is the queue. Okay, then this queue is going to go and we'll create another Lambda function that's going to act as a processor that's going to pull from this queue and add it to the database. That's the idea. Okay, so let me go ahead and leave everything as it is. Just create the queue. This is the receiver queue. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and basically all we need is this one to implement this URL. So what I will do actually is going to put send and receive. We have a message here. Send message. Send is ready to be delivered. Okay. Yeah. So basically what I will do now is I'm going to go to Lambda, okay, functions. Okay, I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to call it order receiver. Okay, this is supposed to be linked with the API, and yeah, so yeah, I'm going to add this API, this one, and I'm going to put the code, which I already have, by the way. I have the code for which we are supposed to push to the taking the data from the API, and we're pushing it to the queue. So we're going to be using this code. Okay, you can just remove this one and replace this one with this one. Okay, and I'm going to change the SQS URL, which is this one, right? The receiver queue. I'm just going to take this one. I am going to put it here. Okay, paste it here. So this is my IRL, and basically this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to receive the order. I'm going to send it to the queue. Okay, once okay, and first thing we need to do here is actually add the permissions, because the permissions are important. We have to give access to attach policies here. We need to give it access to to SQS, full access actually. Need to give it full access. Okay, add this one also this one, add permission. So now that it has all full access, okay, I can go ahead and go to my Lambda here, and I can just deploy this code, accept, and go ahead and deploy the code. No, it was deleted actually. So let me just copy this one again. Yeah, so let me just paste it here, because it should be here. And let me go ahead and copy this one and change this one, paste this one. So I'm just going to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy. So let's wait for it to deploy. Once it's deployed, actually we are supposed to send to the queue the data, and from the queue we're supposed to take it. So we will create one more function here. I'm going to call it processor. Okay, I'm going to name it order processor proc for now. And let's go ahead and create the function. So I just created the function here, and now what I will do is I'm just going to add the code for processing, which is this one actually. No, this one. This is for processing the order. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. Basically, this is supposed to process the order, and SNS. You can add SNS if you need, but it's not our topic. But the table has to be changed. The table name, because the table name is actually customer in our case, right? We have to make sure the table name matches the DynamoDB table name. Okay. And same thing we have to do, deploy this one and go ahead in the configuration, go to the permissions, go to the roles, go to attach permission, attach policies, and go to SQS here. We have to give SQS full permissions, and we have to also give it give Lambda permission to access DynamoDB, because actually DynamoDB is important, because we're going to use it to, yeah. So basically what I will do here is I'm going to go to my Lambda here, see the code, just go through exactly what it's going to do. No, because I already so basically it's just going to save to DynamoDB. You see this one, save to Dynamo, await Dynamo, send, put, order, and amount. So it's just going to update the database. Okay, so it's going to update the database, but it's going to take from the queue, right? So we have to add a trigger, something called trigger here. Add it, and you have to click some SQS here. So it will pull. It will pull from the queue. You have to choose the queue here, receiver queue. Yeah, we're going to take from receiver queue and add it here. So now we have the queue selected. So now this seems to be done from our side. Go ahead, go ahead and try to go back to, first we'll do it from order receiver queue function. Sorry, this is the function, the Lambda function. So this is, you remember, this is just a function that sends the data to the queue. Okay, so I'm going to try to go ahead and create an event here. Okay, let me take the example here from the receiver function number. So I'm going to name it 456, and this I'm going to name it 500. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and test the JSON syntax because we put here extra nigger. Yeah, there is nothing here. If it's valid, what is the issue here? We added okay, this extra bracket basically. Test it again. Again, there is an issue. Let's go ahead and see what's the issue. If it's access denied, or I still believe this is some kind of permission issue, but I want to try it just to make sure this is a permission issue. Let me go ahead and go to the configuration. Even though I added the permission, no, but I added the edit, so I don't think this is a permission issue. Let me attach this one. Let me go ahead. So let's just finalize this. Okay, let's just go to the Lambda function. Okay, let us go to the Lambda function, and we can check our code. First, I created an order receiver here, right? Open it in a new tab. I created this one. Okay, we said that we are going to interface it with the API. The API gateway. We'll create an API gateway, and we are going to connect it with this Lambda function. Okay, the API gateway is going to be the trigger. Okay, so when a client or a user inputs data, it's going to go to the order receiver. Okay, an order receiver, what it's going to do is just going to send what it receives from the API gateway to the queue. That's it. That's its job. Okay, once it sends it to the queue, okay, and then what we will do is we will create another order processor Lambda function, and this is going to take from the queue. It's going to take. We're going to make the queue as the trigger. Okay, and then it's just going to put the it's going to go ahead and send it to the database, which is DynamoDB. This is what the processor function does. Okay, so this is the code, how the code will look like. Okay, this is a working code. You can have a look at it once. This is the one that worked for me. Okay, you can use this one. You can add more here. Like if you want to send if it failed, you can send it to DLQ. We talked about DLQ. This is where the failed processes go, right? And for order receiver, this is the code for order receiver. This is the code that works. I'm using Node.js. This is the code that actually works for me. And yeah, this is what it looks like. So you can just pause the video or get this code for you. Keep it with you, okay? And we can test it. The API gateway, I showed you how to create an API gateway. It's very simple. I don't want to create it again. But 1 second, let me show you. But I think, yeah, I showed you also how to link it with the interface. So this is our API actually. This is the API that we created. Okay, this is the API that I just created. Okay, I think it's this one, customer. No, not this one. The API that I created is actually going to be this one, maybe? No, not this one. Where is the API that I created? Let me see. This is not the one because my API has a post, and also it's different. So it's going to be, it must be this one because it's associated actually to, no, not this one as well. Let's see, order No, I'm not sure why it's not showing here, even though I just created it. But anyways, this is the API that I created. Okay, I think it's a different account maybe. So it's okay, it doesn't matter actually. This is the API that I created from Amazon, okay, from the API, and I linked it with the Lambda function or the receiver, okay. So, and I sent this data, okay. I can send here, we can choose a different number here. Let's say 987, okay, and put the amount same 987 also, okay, or we can add 0, whatever. When you send this, you're going to get status code 200 and order received. So now all you have to do is just go ahead and go to the 1 second. Let me right click here, maximize, and go to the DynamoDB. This is the DynamoDB. Refresh this one. You see 987, 9870 the amount. So this is basically how it will work. This is how it's used in the real world. So there is one more topic I think we should cover, which is EventBridges and step functions. It's actually important. We can just talk about it a little bit, and then we can close this video. Yeah, Amazon EventBridge. Think of EventBridge as a smart post office for events inside AWS. So basically, events are messages about something that happened, like order created or user signed up, right? EventBridge receives these events from AWS services or your application, then it routes them to one or more targets like Lambda, SQS, or SNS step function. So imagine a company like an HR sends a new employee forms, okay? IT receives the new forms and creates an account. Finance receives the new forms and set up a payroll. So EventBridge is like a mailroom, okay? Just this is the best way to describe it actually. It's like a mailroom, okay? It sees an event, new employee hired, decides which department targets should get it, and delivers it automatically. That's the EventBridge, okay? This is very important. Example, Lambda puts an order event into EventBridge, okay? Like for example here, this is the event order service, order created, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. EventBridge, okay, rules. We can add rules in the EventBridge and say rule 1, if order is created, send to Lambda to process payment, okay? If order is created also, we add another rule. You see this one? Send to SNS to notify admin. No need for your Lambda to know all your destination. Got me? So this basically we are simplifying the job for Lambda, the function. So there we just send it to EventBridge, and EventBridge handles the routing where we want to send it. Okay? We don't need to say send it to SNS or send it to something. The EventBridge will handle the routing for us. Okay, decouples producer and consumer. Multiple consumers can subscribe to the same event. Okay, and works like a hub for asynchronous events. This is it's also another good example. Okay, so step function is like a workflow manager for AWS. It lets you coordinate multiple AWS services into sequence workflow. You can handle tasks, branching, retries, errors automatically. This is the idea of step functions. Think of it like a flowchart that actually runs in the cloud. Okay, it lets you coordinate multiple AWS services into sequence. That's the benefit of step functions. So for example here, imagine cooking. When you're cooking, first step is preheat oven, right? Preheat inside oven. Then you're supposed to mix the ingredients, then bake, then notify when it's done. Step functions ensures each step run in order. That's the idea. And if something fails, it can retry and take a different path. That's the idea. Imagine processing an order. Step function. Lambda validate order. charge payment, update inventory, send confirmation. Each steps wait for the previous validate order, charge payment, update inventory, send email, right? If you use this is the step functions workflow, right? Each steps waits for the previous one. If payment fails, it can stop or alert you, right? You can visualize the flow in AWS console. Okay, so we have EventBridge here, event routing, step functions, workflow orchestration, trigger asynchronous event. So EventBridge is triggered by asynchronous event, and step function is triggered by sequence of tasks. Okay. EventBridge decouples producer and consumer. Okay, and step function coordinates multiple steps. Okay, or for example, order created, notify multiple lambdas. That's the idea of EventBridge. Step function, order processing, validate, charge, notify. So basically, we use EventBridge when you want many things to react to a single event. That's the idea of EventBridge. You see what we did before, same like what we did before. Let's say I want to send the send the notification at the same time, send the data to the database and DynamoDB, and also send to the notification. EventBridge will do this both at the same time. Step functions, when you want one workflow with multiple steps, retries and branching logic. One thing. So what we have actually, I think we have closed the key concepts that we wanted to cover today, and I think this is enough for today. EventBridge, we can go ahead and type EventBridge here, bridge here, and you can type EventBridge here. So like for example here you can just create a rule, for example. So basically you can configure here. I want to turn this off so I can use it here. For example, rule here, I can say when order is created, okay, once order, okay, let me just type something here so I can show you the idea. So the event here, if what I want to say is when order is created, I can change the pattern here. I can type the custom pattern here, okay, and click next, and I can select the target. But so let me do it for you. 1 second. For order created, I have one example here. I can just see the code and just go ahead and try something like that. The events bridge. Yeah. So rules, create rules, and choose the name, the customer, this one. Source is basically order service, and detail type is order created. Okay, I'm just going to paste this one, click next, and here I'm going to choose Lambda target. I'm going to choose Lambda function. Okay, select targets to invoke when an event matches your event pattern. So I'm going to say go to which Lambda function, let's say receive processor or something specific. So you see what I did here. I'm just saying I choose order notifier. Order notifier is a Lambda function that sends to SNS, basically, but to email. So I choose this one. Okay, EventBridge listens for events, basically. When event matches, it triggers Lambda. That's it. It routes events based on content. The content. This is the content. This is what is specified. Source, order, service, and detail, order created. Okay, that's the idea of event bridging. And that's it. Thank you for watching.